right next to me, Brian Kruger, who is the what's your official title? Tool programmer and
fireman.
And fireman. Okay, so the fireman type. And we're here on Raid on Yavin. So on the tool programmer side, maybe first of all, you've been responsible for the last couple of years for the general level design tool here. What's that?
Well, level design tool is a Windows program that you've heard a lot of level designers on this commentary, and they run that program, and it gives them a three-dimensional representation of what the level will be, and they place everything in there. They place the buildings, they place the ships, they place anything that you see in a level, they place in that tool. And then they also have a whole bunch of different little windows they can launch that allow them to do all of the game logic. So Holger designed a system called C-Punch, which we built for Battle for Naboo, which is our scripting system, it's a proprietary system, and we integrated that into the level design tool so that all of the decisions that all of the objects in the game make, like should I turn left, should I turn right, who should I shoot at, are all under their control, and it's very easy for them to just use the mouse.
And you can't buy something like that on the open market?
No. In fact, the level design tool is under constant revision because there's always some new trick that we need to do for any given level in the game. For example, this level, Yavin, required me to create a special version of the level editor just for this level because you might notice an awful lot of trees in this level, and in order to get them in the right place relative to the world in general, it would have taken one person forever to place each and every tree on their own by hand with the tool. So I actually made a special version of the tool that only I ran that put the trees down automatically, and then we went in by hand and adjusted some things to make it a little more refined.
So in the end, do you have to place the trees, or are the level designers then placing them, or?
Let's see. In this level, I placed probably about 3/4 of the trees, but a lot of that work was done by my tool, as opposed to by me sitting there going, click, click, put a tree here, put a tree there.
So the basic thing about a level design tool is really being flexible enough to meet the demands. If something in the game isn't going right, or it needs to be finished quickly, right?
Right. It can never. It should never crash. It should be easy to change and reconfigure and just turn it inside out and make it do whatever they need it to do. You have to be very open-ended in the way you write that kind of a program.
Holger, in general about Gamecube, one of the things which Nintendo is claiming, or what they were going for, is obviously fast loading times. Why do a lot of games have very, very long loading times on consoles, and why do certain games not have long loading times?
Well, you really have to think about what you're going to load before you set out to make the game, basically. You have to not load things that you don't really need, and put them in a specific order to make them load fast. So we actually take some things and store it several times to make them load faster. So if we know that this level, for example, has TIE fighters and Imperial shuttles and this, then we just pack them together into one big file and store that on the DVD. The DVD, luckily, is big enough so we don't get a problem with storing things several times.
Are you still using compression techniques back from the cartridge days?
Of course. I mean, even though there's texture compression and everything, we always get a nice little compression out of it of about 30 to 40%, and that's shaved off the loading time right there.
So basically the CPU is, while you're loading, is already uncompressing the data so that you've got it there.
Well, on the Gamecube the CPU doesn't really have to do anything to load. So it's just sitting around doing nothing while it's waiting for the data to arrive from the DVD. So we can use that time to decompress the data that's already there.
Anything in terms of the how does the machine handle the full motion video? Since it's not since it cannot play back DVD movies, how's the movie playback done?
In our case, it's just a string of separate pictures.
So basically just taking that.
It's kind of like MPEG without the in-between pictures.